Everyone is familiar with that type of debate that seems like a fight between the deaf against the mad, left against right, paleo against vegan, people who think a hot dog is a sandwich against people who are sane. A lot of time is wasted, relationships are weakened, and in the end, no one changes their mind. Worse, each side becomes a more fervent defender of their position. Giving up now would be a huge sign of weakness. That's precisely why engaging in this type of debate already means both sides have lost. But there is a better way. As an example of such a discussion, let's take good old atheism versus religion. Perhaps this is not such an ancient controversy in Western history, but it is old in our own lives. Everyone has met, or has been, a rebellious teenager who wanted to deny anything that was minimally traditional. On the other side of the ring, everyone has met, or has been, or is, a target of that person, an openly religious individual. Let's imagine or recall how the encounter between two such individuals unfold. Perhaps on the schoolyard, maybe during a family Christmas, perhaps on an online forum. The battle could be considered simple and straightforward. Ideas against ideas. May the best one win. But changing one's mind in these cases means denying years of attitudes, conversations, relationships, and choices based on these beliefs. Abandoning this position, especially publicly, now would bring consequences psychological, social, perhaps even spiritual and cosmic ones that might be too great for a human being to bear. The brain does not willingly accept the realization that it might be wrong. This is called cognitive dissonance. And the automatic defense mechanism is to raise one's voice and use increasingly emotional discourse, far from logic. Thus, the debate has no possibility of developing. We end up with both sides stubbornly digging in their heels, a fair amount of frustration, and perhaps even anger. Therefore, a normal exchange of information and concepts become impossible when such intimate beliefs are involved. Changing one's mind in these cases would mean having one's entire worldview demolished without having anything similar to replace it with. Psychologists and priests, addicts, anorexics, anxious or depressed individuals all know how difficult it is, even over a lifetime, to change a limiting belief or update one's identity. And when we argue with a rival, we demand that they do it in the time it takes to fry an egg. This process, even when necessary to rid ourselves of obsolete dogmas, is extremely painful. Here's a personal example in the same area. I will never forget when, as a 100% skeptical and materialistic teenager, I was invited to an Umbanda temple, which is a mixture of African rituals with Catholic imagery. I went there with the expectation of discovering the tricks they used to talk to people and to summon the supposed spirits to reveal information about people there. Whether they had spies in the audience to gather information or if they did code reading, how they would ask for money. Well, it was supposed to be fun. But it was completely the opposite of what I expected, and I saw and heard things that I still can't properly explain to this day. That night, I returned home confused, angry, amazed, dumbfounded, all at once. It was a shock, but the false fortress of certainties crumbled, and among the rubble remained the uncomfortable seed of doubt. Yes, because I didn't accept the specific explanations of that religion, or any other, since that time. I only accepted that I didn't know everything about the universe. And in that empty field, by accepting the limits of my own understanding, the seed could be nourished by curiosity, philosophy, science, but it could also end up in the thorns of dogmatism or in the desert of nihilism. However, there is no other way. Going through these tribulations is the only way to try to grasp what is real. Returning then to the atheist arguing with the religious person, it is not reasonable to ask someone to change their beliefs as if they were changing clothes. The most accurate comparison, in fact, would be to ask someone to set fire to their clothes, the clothes they are wearing, and stand naked and scorched in public. It is not reasonable to demand the impossible. So, the next time there is a battle of ideas that seems deeply entrenched in the minds of others, it may be more beneficial to give up trying to change opinions and simply try to listen, understand. Even though that belief may be bizarre and harmful, try to see what good it might bring to your rival. Certainty, security, a greater sense of control and meaning in an uncertain universe. And there, it might be possible to find an intersection with your own beliefs. And thus, the more reasonable intention is not to mold the minds of others, but to discover how they ended up with different ideas, experiences, and characteristics from our own. How all of this has shaped their choices, their beliefs. The intention shifts from influencing others to knowing other facets of the same reality, which is quite fitting, as we are all seeking more or less the same things in this reality: security, comfort, connections, meaning. Finding that is a challenging quest for everyone, an impossible quest to undertake alone, and one that becomes even heavier when burdened with an obese ego, overfed by countless intentions of exclaiming in glory, "I am right and you are wrong." I hope this was helpful and insightful. Please leave a comment if you had or have discussions like this, and like and subscribe for more. Thank you. Have a nice day.